Narrated by Abu Huraira, Allah's Messenger peace be upon him said, the prayer of a person who does hadith, means passes urine, stool, or wind, is not accepted till he performs the ablution. A person from Hadramaut asked Abu Huraira, what is hadith? Abu Huraira replied, hadith means the passing of wind. Narrated by Nu'am al-Mujamir, once I went up the roof of the mosque, along with Abu Huraira. He performed ablution and said, I heard the Prophet peace be upon him saying, on the day of resurrection, my followers will be called al-Ghur al-Muhajjalun from the trace of ablution, and whoever can increase the area of his radiance should do so, by performing ablution regularly. Narrated by Abad bin Tamim, my uncle asked Allah's Messenger peace be upon him about a person who imagined to have passed wind during the prayer. Allah Apostle replied, he should not leave his prayers unless he hears sound or smells something. Narrated by Quraib, Ibn Abbas said, the Prophet peace be upon him slept till he snored and then prayed, or probably lay till his breath sounds were heard and then got up and prayed. Ibn Abbas added, I stayed overnight in the house of my aunt, Ma'imuna. The Prophet peace be upon him slept for a part of the night, and late in the night, he got up and performed ablution from a hanging water skin, a light, perfect, ablution, and stood up for the prayer. I too performed a similar ablution, then I went and stood on his left. He drew me to his right and prayed as much as Allah wished, and again lay and slept till his breath sounds were heard. Later on the mu'adhdhin, call maker for the prayer, came to him and informed him that it was time for prayer. The Prophet peace be upon him went with him for the prayer without performing a new ablution. Sufyan said to Amr that some people said, the eyes of Allah's Messenger peace be upon him sleep but his heart does not sleep. Amr replied, I heard Ubayd bin Umar saying that the dreams of prophets were divine inspiration, and then he recited the verse, I, Abraham, see in a dream, O my son, that I offer you in sacrifice to Allah. Quran chapter 37 verse 102. Narrated by Usama bin Zayd, Allah's Messenger peace be upon him proceeded from Arafat till when he reached the mountain pass, he dismounted, urinated, and then performed ablution but not a perfect one. I said to him, is it the time for the prayer, O Allah's Messenger peace be upon him? He said, the place of prayer is ahead of you. He rode till when he reached Al-Muzdalifah, he dismounted and performed ablution and a perfect one. The call for Iqamah was pronounced and he led the Maghrib prayer. Then everybody made his camel kneel down at its place. Then the Iqamah was pronounced for the Isha prayer, which the Prophet peace be upon him led, and no prayer was offered in between the two prayers Isha and Maghrib. Narrated by Atta bin Yasar, Ibn Abbas performed ablution and washed his face in the following way, he ladled out a handful of water, rinsed his mouth and washed his nose with it by putting in water and then blowing it out. He then took another handful of water and did like this, gesturing joining both hands, and washed his face, took another handful of water and washed his right forearm. He again took another handful of water and washed his left forearm, and passed wet hands over his head, and took another handful of water and poured it over his right foot up to his ankles, and washed it thoroughly, and similarly took another handful of water, and washed thoroughly his left foot up to the ankles, and said, I saw Allah's Messenger peace be upon him performing ablution in this way.